Baruch Spinoza was a Dutch philosopher of Sephardic Jewish origin. He is considered one of the great rationalists of the 17th century, alongside Descartes and Leibniz. His work laid the groundwork for the Enlightenment and modern biblical criticism. First, let's discuss substance monism. Imagine a vast ocean where individual waves are not separate entities, but different expressions of the same body of water. Spinoza argued that there is only one substance in the universe, which he identified as God or nature, Deus sive natura. Everything in the universe, including humans and their thoughts, is a part of this single substance. This view is called substance monism. Spinoza's substance monism challenges the dualistic perspective, which sees mind and body or God and the world as fundamentally separate. For Spinoza, mind and body are two attributes of the same substance, and everything that exists is an aspect of this unified reality. Next, let's explore God or nature. Think of a tree where every leaf, branch, and root is part of the same organism, interconnected and interdependent. For Spinoza, God is not a transcendent personal deity, but an immanent force that pervades everything. God and nature are two names for the same reality. This pantheistic view sees God as identical with the universe and its natural laws. Spinoza's conception of God as synonymous with nature implies that understanding the natural world is a form of understanding God. This view encourages a deep reverence for the natural world and a recognition of the divine in everyday existence. It also rejects the idea of a God who intervenes in the world in miraculous ways, instead seeing the divine as manifest in the consistent and immutable laws of nature.
Now, let's discuss determinism. Consider a clock where every gear and spring operates according to precise mechanical laws, leaving no room for randomness. Spinoza believed in strict determinism, where everything that happens is a result of the necessity of nature. Human actions and thoughts are determined by the same natural laws that govern the rest of the universe. This challenges the traditional notion of free will. Spinoza's determinism suggests that everything in nature, including human behavior, is governed by causal laws. Understanding these laws and how they apply to human emotions and actions is key to achieving true freedom. For Spinoza, freedom is not the ability to do otherwise, but the understanding of the necessity that governs us and aligning our desires with this understanding. Next, let's examine ethics and the pursuit of happiness. Think of a gardener tending to their plants, ensuring they have the best conditions to grow and flourish. Spinoza's ethics is a comprehensive system that outlines how individuals can achieve happiness and peace of mind through understanding the nature of reality and living in accordance with reason. He believed that true happiness comes from understanding the deterministic nature of the world and accepting it. In ethics, Spinoza argues that by understanding the true nature of reality, individuals can align their desires with what is necessary and possible, leading to a more serene and fulfilled life. This involves moving from a passive experience of emotions to an active understanding of them, thereby achieving a state of blessedness or intellectual love of God. Now let's look at Spinoza's influences, starting with rationalism. Imagine a mathematician who believes that through logical reasoning and deduction, one can uncover universal truths. Spinoza was influenced by the rationalist tradition, which emphasizes reason as the primary source of knowledge. He built on the ideas of Descartes, but diverged in significant ways, particularly in his views on God and substance. While Descartes maintained a dualism between mind and body, Spinoza's monism saw both as attributes of a single substance. Spinoza also rejected Descartes' notion of free will, instead advocating for a deterministic universe where everything follows from the necessity of the divine nature. Next, Jewish philosophy and medieval scholasticism. Consider a student who synthesizes ancient wisdom with new ideas to create a comprehensive worldview. Spinoza was influenced by Jewish philosophers like Maimonides and medieval scholastic thinkers who sought to reconcile reason and faith. This background helped shape his unique approach to philosophy and theology.
Spinoza's Jewish heritage and his engagement with medieval scholasticism provided a rich context for his ideas. His critical approach to the Bible and his efforts to separate philosophy from theology reflect this intellectual tradition, while his emphasis on reason and natural law aligns with the rationalist and scholastic pursuits of knowledge. Now let's review Spinoza's key works. Ethics is a seminal work presented in a geometrical format, outlining his metaphysics, epistemology, and ethics. It is divided into 5 parts: on God, on the nature and origin of the mind, on the origin and nature of the emotions, on human bondage or the powers of the emotions, and on the power of the intellect or on human freedom. Ethics is notable for its rigorous structure and comprehensive scope. It aims to demonstrate the interconnectedness of all things and to provide a pathway to understanding and living in harmony with the natural world. By following this path, Spinoza believes individuals can achieve a form of happiness that is deeply rooted in the understanding of reality. Next, the Tractatus Theologico-Politicus. The Tractatus Theologico-Politicus is a treatise that argues for the separation of philosophy and theology and advocates for religious tolerance and freedom of thought. Spinoza critiques the traditional interpretations of the Bible and argues that Scripture should be understood in its historical context. In this work, Spinoza defends the freedom of inquiry and expression, asserting that the state should not interfere with philosophical and scientific pursuits. His arguments for tolerance and the separation of church and state were groundbreaking at the time and continue to influence modern debates about religion and politics. Finally, the Tractatus Politicus. The Tractatus Politicus is an unfinished political treatise discussing the principles of political organization and governance. Spinoza explores the nature of political power, the role of the state, and the conditions necessary for a stable and just society. In this work, Spinoza argues for a democratic form of government where individuals consent to be governed in exchange for the protection of their rights. He emphasizes the importance of a rational and well-informed citizenry for the functioning of a healthy state. Now let's discuss Spinoza's legacy and influence. First, Enlightenment thought. Think of a lighthouse that illuminates new paths for ships navigating dark waters. Spinoza's ideas on rationalism, naturalism, and political freedom significantly influenced Enlightenment thinkers like Voltaire and Diderot. His emphasis on reason and critique of religious dogma helped shape modern secular and liberal thought. Spinoza's commitment to reason and his challenges to religious orthodoxy laid the groundwork for the secular and scientific advances of the Enlightenment. His vision of a society based on reason, tolerance, and democratic principles resonated with and inspired later thinkers. Next, pantheism and naturalism. Consider an explorer who maps uncharted territories, revealing the interconnectedness of all things. Spinoza's pantheistic view of God and nature has influenced various philosophical and spiritual movements. His naturalistic approach laid the groundwork for later developments in philosophy, including existentialism and phenomenology. Spinoza's conception of God as synonymous with the natural world has inspired a range of interpretations, from the mystical to the scientific. His vision of an interconnected universe continues to resonate in contemporary discussions about the nature of reality and our place within it.